Sandy Cox believed World War III was over, but for those alien vampires, war has just begun. 48 hours after World War III treaty is signed, Sandy Cox awakens in an underground compound, unable to move. Tied to machines, she screams for help, but no one answers. At least, no one human. And they've taken her unborn child. Phil is a rebel freedom fighter who has had more than his share of alien vampires. Armed with the Blades, a sacred alien martial arts weapon, he enters the compound on a mission to find Sandy. But as he battles through the compound, Phil discovers Sandy has her own agenda. Finding her stolen child is all that matters. But the vampires have their own plan, and Sandy's baby is at the heart of their diabolical plot. Joined by a crew of rogue soldiers, they must navigate the underground compound, combating genetically mutated humans, aliens, and monsters. When battling alien vampires, one thing is certain: get ready to bleed. Fans of Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation, Star Wars, The Matrix, and Ancient Aliens will be fascinated by this high-powered, edge-of-your-seat action adventure. Alrighty, so PD Alleva's The Rose. This is the first book in the series, if I'm not mistaken. I can't tell if it's a prequel or if it's like the first set of a series. It doesn't really matter, but this kind of sets up the world as a terrible place to be. Yeah, so World War III has happened, and it didn't end well at all. People, well, they were put into camps for their own safety and whatever, and then some of these camps came under the control of these alien vampire creatures called the Drak. And, yeah, it's about as bad as you would expect. So, in this instance, we are following two characters primarily. Sandy, who is pregnant, she's got her child, she wants to be free from all of the troubles that have come up, and Phil, who is her sort of guardian guide person as he's leading her to go find this safe place. And yeah, there's a bit of meditation magic involved, sort of manipulating the world into something that you want it to be with your mind, which is super cool, by the way. I don't actually know how to describe it properly, but it's pretty cool. And there's also a fair bit of politics going on between various alien factions, and it all centers around Sandy's child, which is problematic because, you know, she's not happy about them taking her child. They have, the various factions have different plans. It's very dramatic. So this book has a fair bit of action involved. We have different characters trying to escape this compound. We have different things that are going on faction-wise. We've got the Draks, who are vampiric and drink people's blood in order to survive. So you've got a fair bit of action involved, people trying to survive, fighting, etc. And then you also have a fair bit of politics involved, which makes for a very interesting combination. I don't know how to describe it properly, but I can tell you that things move very quickly while also simultaneously moving very slowly. This whole book is basically the escape from that compound. And there's a lot that goes into it. A lot going on there. And you kind of really just want them to like be able to leave the compound, but you can't leave without doing X, Y, and Z, and it's, you know, many things, and drama, and action, and end of the world sort of nonsense. Yep. Anyways, I can't really go into a huge amount of detail on the plot or the characters because there's a fair bit of spoiler stuff involved, which I don't want to give away because, you know, just know that it's dystopian action adventure. You've got alien vampires, not so much on the magical end of things, definitely more sci-fi, dystopian, you know, scientific elements sort of thing, but The Rose is more manipulation of the universe by means of mental acuity, which is sort of like the Force, but not. Yep. Yep. Things that make much more sense in my head than when they come out of my mouth. Anyways, I would say that this book is quite intricate. There is a fair bit going on, and there are questions at the end of the book that are purposefully left unanswered, hence the, you know, needing to move into the other part of the series. And the fact that this might be a prequel but might be book one, it doesn't really matter. Just know that there's more coming, which is good, because I want to know all the answers. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, as far as the characters go, I think Sandy is probably my favorite and perhaps the one who is most developed. The others are very, very interesting, and I would say that they are quite fun to follow, but I like Sandy the best simply because there is a lot of background and motivation and whatnot, so you have to figure out what it is that she's trying to do, and she, you know, how can she go about doing things when other bits have changed that I can't tell you about because, you know, spoilers. It's very complicated, and I think she does make the story, really, for me. I think she is the most interesting character to follow, and the ending bit involving her, I can't tell if I'm pleased by it or like, oh no, why? Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. The writer in me says yes, and the reader in me says no, and we'll go from there. Yeah, so I think it's a fairly intricate book. I think it's very interesting. I think there's a lot going on. I will say that my one critique is to do with the soldiers, Cam in particular, and the bits later on when he kind of gangs up with other soldiers. That feels a little contrived when they finally figure out what's going on. It's like, oh, okay. Kind of like, you know, your standard action alien movie where, oh, things are attacking us and what are we gonna do and the world isn't what we thought, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. I do. It makes sense, but it also feels just a little too contrived. There were only a few parts like that, honestly, but I think those parts kind of took you out of the story just a little bit. So it felt like you were reading a book as opposed to being immersed in a book. The rest of the time that wasn't really an issue at all, I would say. Those couple of times, honestly, it's not really that big of a deal, and I think it's more to do with the way I perceive action than most people, because I have discovered I'm not normal when it comes to these things. So it's probably more the way I'm reading it as opposed to anything else. So if you're interested in action, adventure, thriller, dystopian, science fiction with alien vampires, this is absolutely a good book for you. There's a lot going on. I think you'll be very impressed with the story, with the world that is laid out, and I like it. Yeah, I think it was a good book. So as usual, all of the links are in the description box below. I will leave them there. You can find my links there as well. You know, series and books and things. I'm working on getting more stuff out. It's you know, new year, plans are moving slow, the world is like requiring of more tea, etc. So yeah, but that's pretty much all I've got for you today. Action adventure, alien vampire. I really thought it was quite well written. It was a good book. Alright, anyways, that's what I've got for you today. I hope you have a fantastic day. Go cause some trouble, not too much, because, you know, it's still beginning of January. We have a whole year to get through. And I shall see you next time. Bye.